welcome back to another video, and you can't see my face, which is bonus. Now, what I'm going to be doing for you today is creepypasta, as you can see. Here you go, have a good look. Oh, when your mouse stops working in the middle of a video, whatever. Ugh, yay. Just do what I do. Now I'm stuck with the mouse pad, yay. This person here is who we're doing, Jeff the Killer. Now I can get you a picture. So if we see some weird things. There it is. And the ads have to get in my way. Now, before this begins thoroughly, let me just get the story up on my phone. Prepared, aren't I? Now, let's just get the story. The origin. Origin. Let's see. Alright, I've got 28 minutes to read this. See if we can do it, guys. If my gun wants to stop hurting. Basically, he draws Jeff while I read out the story to you. Oh, here we go, right. I suppose I've done one of these before. I don't know how this is a guy. I suppose off we go. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I had a dream and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and I shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had this strange feeling like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There was a light ray of light illuminating from between my curtains. Were a pair of two eyes. These weren't regular eyes. These were dark, ominous eyes. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there watching me. Finally, after that what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said in a way only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming it at my heart. He jumped back on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked. I rolled around, trying to knock him off me. That's when my dad burst in. The man threw a knife. It went into my dad's. It went. Go. Whoa. Stop. Go. Oh, what? Okay. Well, your phone plays up and you're trying to do a freaking video. Right. Man busted in. The man threw a knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window. It was pointing towards the back of my house. It was broken. Oh, it was pointing to the back. It it was. I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house. Towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out to see if to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face, those cold, evil eyes, and that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Please stay on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in the story, please contact the local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten. I've got ages. His dad had gotten a promotion at work. Or when you lose your place. Dad had got a promotion at work, and they thought it would be the best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Fancy being in speech marks, like fancy, sarcastic sort of fancy, for those who don't understand. Jeff and his brother Louis couldn't complain, though a new, better house. A new. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbours came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, these are our neighbours." Billy said hi and ran back into his yard to play. "Well," said Jeff's mum, "I'm Margaret and this is my husband Peter and my two sons, Jeff and Louis." They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday. Jeff and his brother were about the object, and when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family were done packing, Jeff went up to his mum. "Mum, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid." "Jeff," said his mother. Sorry guys, I've got a bad voice. "We just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbours. Now we're going to a party and that's final." Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mum said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat looking at his ceiling. When suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff, and we walked down to get in it. Oh yeah, by the way, the drawing on this bit, Yeah, by the way, I'm not drawing this. This is obviously, as you saw, a YouTube video. I can never draw this good. Back to the story. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get his breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time, it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain. But he once again dismissed it. As he and Louis finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop and they sat waiting for the bus. And then all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps, and they both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He wore Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Well, it looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, two other kids appear. One was skinny, super skinny, and one was massive, huge. Well, since you're new around here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Louis looked over at the skinny kid. He had a dopey face. That you would expect a sidekick to have. And he's Troy. They looked over at the fat, huge, massive kid. Talk about a tub of lard. This kid looks like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. Oh, that's fat. And I said, and I, said the first kid, I'm Andy. Now for all the kids in this neighborhood, there is a small price. There is a small price for bus fare. If you catch my drift. Louis stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kids, when one of his friends pulled out a knife on him. I had hoped you would be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Louis and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong, and a burning sensation. He stood up, but Louis gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Give back my brother's wallet, or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled his own knife. Oh, and what will you do? Just as he finished his sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose, and Randy reached for his face. Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed, and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed at him too, but Jeff didn't even need a knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Louis could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, how'd you... That was all he said. Then the bus was coming and he knew they would be blamed for the whole thing. So they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Louis made it to school... Am I good? Yeah. Made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Louis thought of that as his brother beating of a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got the feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school, even as he walked home, due to the whole thing near the bus stop. and how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. He felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in somewhat an ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, he heard a knock at the front door. He walked down to find two police officers at the door. His mother looked back with an angry look. "Jeff, these two officers tell me that you've attacked 3 kids. That isn't, that is, that it wasn't regular fighting, and that they were stabbed, son." Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that this was true. "Mum, they were the ones who pulled the lice out of me and Louie." "Son," said one of the cops, "we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed and 1 having bruises on his stomach. And we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us?" Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Louis had been attacked, but then there was no proof. It was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they were told. They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing because the truth were told they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Louis. "Son, calm down. Your brother. Son, cool your brother down." Jeff couldn't do it since it was him. Okay, sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Louis tried to hold back, but he couldn't stop me. Pop looked at his partner and they both nodded. "Well, looks like you're in a year in juvie." "Wait," says Louis. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns out and looked them on Louis. "It was me. I beat up those little punks. Have the marks to prove it." He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises, as if he was in a struggle. "So just put the knife down," said the officer. Louis held the knife and dropped it to the ground, but he put his hands up and walked over to the cops. "No, Louis, it was me. I did it." Jeff had tears run down his face. "Huh? Poor bro trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away." The police led Louis out to the patrol car. Louis, tell him it was me. Tell him I was the one who beat up those kids." Jeff's mother put her hand on his shoulders. "Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it's Louis. You can stop." Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Louis inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son, what is it?" Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Louis when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by, and no word from Louis at JDC. No friends to hang with, nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday when Jeff is woke by his mother with a happy sunshiny face. "Jeff, it's the day," she said, as she opened up the curtains to let light into his room. "Wait, what? What's today?" asked Jeff as he stirs awake. "Why, it's Billy's party." He was now fully awake. "Mum, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go after some kid's party after—" There was a long pause. Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready. To get ready herself. He thought himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up, his mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they ever wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party? Oh, we've got time. Jesus, I've never read so much, guys. Jeff is a long story. A very long story. Son, is that all you're going to wear? Said Jeff's mum. Better than wearing too much, he said. His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hid it with a smile. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression. And his father, Jeff, grunted and went back up to his said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. You know what, guys? We'll just watch the rest of this. It is a very long story, and I just... No, it's gonna be a part 2. But yeah, I recommend you take a good look at this, guys. Take a very good look. You've just seen someone draw that in front of your eyes, which means if you get good enough or skilled enough, you can draw exactly like this. I believe in everyone can draw. They're just different stages, very different stages. And if you want to know about Jeff the Killer's Love Life with Hope, oh, can't forget the with Hope. Ha! Wrong! And I say you're wrong. Jane is not Jeff's sister. It's when right, guys. Should take shush a sec. Right, Jane comes into Jeff's life when, how do I say this? Jane comes into Jeff's life when, as I was saying about Andy and Randy and that, when he's at this kid's birthday party, he ends up getting in a fight with them, and well, actually no, before that, you know what, 1 second. Right. 1 second, let me listen to this a sec. basically, Jeff moved in on the same street as her, just opposite her house. Wrong. No. They became friends. Later on, that escalates to best friend. And then later on, that escalates to girlfriend and boyfriend. And it goes on from Jane. And then he moves on to Hope. Ha ha ha. Oh, you don't know this. Oh. Did someone do their research? Here we go. Loving a Cure, Part 1. Why do you think I've been fangirling? Hope, Jope, Hef. I actually don't know who she is, but she's made. I'm still doing my research though. And Hope. Did say shut up before I break your neck? Jedi! He gets burned. Alcohol and bleach. See, I'm not stupid! And then Jane runs in with the fire extinguisher, but she trips over and hits her head off the fire extinguisher. She ends up, and then Jeff goes crazy, and then he gets her family, brings him. Then she brings. Oh my god, how does I say this? No, I think that's enough for one day. My brain isn't cooperating. Guys, search this up. I'm going to carry on going to part 8. As I say, do your research about Jeff the Killer, like I am. And I will see you in the next video. And it's going to be about the rest of the story of this life. And then we're going to move on to this beautiful woman here. And so on and so forth. Bye!